trapezoid. This is the last figure that we are going to be working with. These are trapezoids because they only have one set of parallel sides, meaning that if we continued these lines, they would eventually meet. If we continued these, they would eventually meet. So these are the parallel sides, and parallel sides. So let's talk just a little bit about the basics of a trapezoid. Trapezoids have two bases. So this, we're going to call this base 1, and this is base 2. It doesn't really matter. We could call this one base 2 and this one base 1. I mean, they're just, one of them is base 1 and the other is base 2. And the bases will always be the parallel sides. So just like with all of the other shapes, you have a base, but here we have two bases. And then you also have a height, which is going to be the distance between your bases. So we could also say that the height is here. So when we look at, actually, let's go back here. So when you think about all of our other formulas for area, they've all been based on area of a rectangle or parallelogram. So how can we make this trapezoid into a rectangle or a parallelogram? Right? If we, and the way that we do that, there are actually a couple of ways, but the way that matches the formula goes like this. So if we take our trapezoid and we double it, we have two trapezoids now, and if we rotate it around, we can actually make these, and I'm not gonna be able to put them side by side like that because it's not going to work with how I have the pictures. But if we put them all together, then both together, then what we have made is one big parallelogram. So we can still use the formula base times height. But here's what's changed. Remember, this is also how you can write it. B and then little bitty 1 right there, base 1. And this was base 2. Well, now on the second trapezoid, our base 1 is down here and our base 2 is up here. So what we can do is, to figure out the area, we can add base 2 and base 1, multiply it by the height. If we add base 2 and base 1 and multiply it by the height, we have base times height. But the problem is we only want the area of one of these, so we have to divide it by 2. So the formula for area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 times the height, either divided by 2 or multiplied by 1/2. So let's look at this again. I have a trapezoid plus the duplicated trapezoid. So I have, if this is base 1, this is base 2, then this is now base 1, and this is base 2. So I put these close together so that you could see. So base 2 plus base 1, or base 1, hold on, base 1 plus base 2 times the height. First you've got to multiply, first you have to add base 1 and base 2 together, then times the height, and then divide by 2 to get the area of just one of your trapezoids. So let's take a look here. We have a trapezoid with two bases and a height. So let's apply the formula. You're definitely going to want to write this down. Area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Now, the 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times the height is the same thing as base 1 plus base 2 times the height, all divided by 2. This is the formula that I prefer. Base 1 plus base 2 times the height over 2. Because I just think it's a little bit easier to just divide everything by 2. It's the same thing as multiplying by half. So let's plug it in. Area equals, okay, so let's add 5 and 10, add our bases, oops, multiply by the height, and divide everything by 2. So 5 and 10 is 15 times 6 divided by 2. So 15 times 6 is 90 divided by 2 is 45 square centimeters, because our units were square centimeters. So base 1 plus base 2, or either way, times the height divided by 2. So pause and rewind if you need to. Let's look at the next one. All right, this one, the first thing you need to do, remember, identify your bases. This time, here are our bases, the parallel sides, and our height still is where the line that's perpendicular to the bases. So area, base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. So let's add 14 and 9. 14 plus 9 times the height, 12, and divide by 2. So 14 times 9 is 126 times 12, all divided by 2. So 126 times 12 is 1,512 divided by 2 is 756, we're working with centimeters, squared. And that's it. So with this one, you know, again, don't try and memorize the formulas. Use your formula chart, but know how to manipulate it. Know how to put numbers in. Base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2, or times the half. Pause and rewind as many times as you need, and make sure you take good notes.